Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. It depends where you are. My name is Nadine Younes. I'm Program Manager at the Scientific Research Programs at QRDI Council. I'm pleased today to present for you the information session about the second cycle of the Academic Research Grant, or ARG. The ARG objectives the ARG is designed to support investigator-led R&D aimed at generating new knowledge and furthering scientific understanding in topics broadly aligned with any of the national RDI priority areas. You may refer to QRDI website for these areas. The ARG aims to enhance Qatar's reputation and contributions to the global stock of knowledge and contribute to the enhancement of capabilities of the research talent pool. For the eligibility of the institutions, any institution with an approved research office with QRDI, academic, public, private, or other like non-profit or NGOs are eligible to submit for QRDI. For the collaborative institutions in ARG, any institution from inside or outside Qatar are eligible to collaborate, provided that each collaborative institution must include at least one full-time affiliated principal investigator. Regarding the eligibility of the lead principal investigator or the applicant, he or she must be a full-time affiliate of an approved submitting institution in Qatar, must hold a terminal degree as defined by the approved list of terminal degree. We have a list provided in the document library on the portal. You may refer to it to see the terminal degrees. For the number of roles, each lead principal investigator can submit only one application as a lead as LPI in this cycle. However, each individual can have up to 3 roles in ARG as lead PI or PI. So, for example, if someone had one granted awarded in ARG1 last cycle, so he or she can still have 2 roles in this cycle as lead PI or PI. Regarding the requirements for the principal investigator, the affiliation must be affiliated to a submitting institution in Qatar or a collaborating institution inside or outside Qatar. So, and must hold at least a university postgraduate degree and should have suitable research experience relevant to the area of the proposal. The proposal also might include other team members, what we call them unnamed roles, like postdocs, research associate, research assistant, graduate students, undergraduate students, lab technicians, and engineers. Also, the proposals can include consultants. However, the consultant services cannot be considered as scientific or intellectual contribution to the project and will not be paid from our grants. For the types of applications, usually any new application will be called new. So for the, it's submitted for the first time, and also this might include the proposal that did not pass screening in previous cycles. And also this cycle, we introduced the resubmission since this is the second cycle. So any proposal that did not get awarded in ARG1 can be resubmitted in this cycle in ARG2. Provided that it wasn't submitted to any other program or call at QNRF. The main proposal components include the research proposal, the summary, then the institutions. It includes submitting and the collaborative institutions. Then we have the personnel that I named them, the lead PIs, unnamed roles, and consultants, the research plan, then the budget, and ethical compliance. To give you an overview about the pre-award stage, the application or the submission start by the registration of the lead principal investigator on the system. Then the lead PI will register the proposal and submit it through the system. It goes to the research office of that lead PI institution for vetting. And we at QRDI, we consider the RO vetted proposals as of the official submission. So any proposal that wasn't vetted by the RO, this will not be considered as officially submitted. Then these RO vetted proposal will go through the screening phase. It's internal process where we check the completion of the proposals. And if they are using the correct template, they are complying with the rules, and then the proposal that passed the screening will go through the review stage. Then we'll give the funding recommendation, we get the necessary approval, and at the end we announce the results. Regarding the review for the ARG proposals, each proposal will be reviewed by a minimum of 4 international experts in the field of the proposals. The criteria of the review include scientific excellence with 40% weight, implementation of research work 30% weight, budget with 20%, knowledge transfer 10%, and at the end they also provide the comments about the research compliance. The details of all these criteria are included in the request for application. You may refer it for details. And the 4 criteria that they are scored with the weights, each peer reviewer will give a score of excellent, good, average, unsatisfactory, or poor. And for any proposals that scored poor in any individual criteria will not be considered for funding by default. Regarding the size of the grant, each ARG award is up to 900,000 Qatari riyal, which equivalent to around 246.5 US dollar per year for up to 3 years. The budget components include personnel cost, equipment cost, travel cost up to 10% of the annual direct budget, miscellaneous cost up to 5% of the annual direct budget, and the indirect cost with up to 10%. As I mentioned, the collaborative institution might be from inside or outside Qatar. So, however, we have a rule that 80% of the budget and 65% of the research efforts must be inside Qatar. In other terms, only 20% and 35% of the budget and 35% of the effort can be expended outside Qatar. Also, there is a rule here for the private institutions, as submitting or collaborative institutions are not eligible for personnel and indirect costs from our grants. For the timeline, as you are aware, the submission started on the 12th of March. The channel has opened for submission. Then it will close for submission by lead PIs at the 7th of May. Please, this is very important here to note this date. Any proposal, all the proposals should be submitted by this deadline at 12 p.m. Doha time. Because if you miss this deadline, it means that you missed the chance to submit for this cycle. Then we'll have 2 weeks until 21st of May for the RO for vetting these proposals. And also to note here that all the proposals can be returned by the research office for modification by the lead PI. So if your application is not very complete and still needs some small modification, in these 2 weeks, the RO can still return it for you for modification. And we hope to notify you about the screening outcome by the June. And hopefully the award announcement will be around October, November. And after that, we will start the awarding or pre-funding stage. And at the end, we will have the notes of award signature. For the monitoring in the post-award, all ARG awarded projects will go through kickoff meeting. It's mandatory meeting, and then we will have annual progress report and interim and annual financial report. Also will include midterm reviews for projects of a duration of 3 years. And at the end of the project, we will have final report, which include final technical, public report, summary, and final financial report. For the submission, all the proposals should be submitted through the oss.qgrants.org. This is a channel for submission. If you are aware of our previous calls or ARG1, it's similar. There is no much change in the system, so you just follow these instructions. And we have the grant application guide also available if for any help through step-by-step submission. All the document for ARG are available on QRDI portal. This is the link for it, and you can find all the document on the download center. Also, it's very important here to note the links here. The first one is for policies and guidelines. You need is to familiarize yourself about all these policies, and now they are available in English and Arabic languages. And also there are the documents under the document library. Also these, you need also to familiarize yourself about these documents. And also there are some templates you need to use it from here. For example, the co-funding cost sharing commitment letter template is here in the document library, and the data management plan template are also here. So you need also to read all these documents to make sure that you are aware of all the rules. Also, please make sure that you are using the updated template, the template for this cycle, and it's available in the download center of ARG. And I want here to make sure that you are using the template and to read all these instructions in red in the first pages. Please be careful with this justification, as this very important to follow these rules. The document should not exceed 10 pages, and these are the main sections that should be included in the research plan. You made a little bit of change in the subs sections, but not in the main ones. And also shouldn't exceed the 10 pages, excluding the cover page, table of content and references. And the font size should be 11. Please don't try to make it smaller to fit more spaces or make the margin different, because this will put you at risk to be screened out. And also, if you have any appendices and any information that you would like to add, please add it under the miscellaneous documents section on the system, not in the research plan itself. So you may refer to it in the research plan and say that more information are provided in the miscellaneous documents, but please don't include the section and also to increase the number of pages. And also please don't add any extra sections. The template is now available on the download center in Arabic as well. And also the RFA, the request for application, is available in Arabic. You may refer to it. This is the template for the data management plan. Also, you need to use it. As I mentioned, it's in the document library. You may refer to it. And we have the supporting letter for the collaborative institutions. You need to use it for this cycle, and the commitment letter template as well. If you have any question at any time, you may submit it through support.qrdi.org.qa, and we will be happy to answer you. Thank you. I will open now the floor for question. You may write your questions in the Q&A, and I will answer you. I also would like to welcome with me Dr. Hisham Saber, the Executive Director of Scientific Research Program at QRDI Council, that he might also help me in some questions, and Ms. Riham Daher, the Director of the Academic Research Program, also for taking some questions. Thank you. I will start with the questions. Is it possible to send the guidelines and the PowerPoint by email? Yes, we'll share, but not by email. We usually share the slides on the portal. You will find them hopefully by tomorrow or after tomorrow on the portal under the ARG page. For resubmission, can we change the PIs from original submission, eliminate some and add others? You may use some of the old PIs as lead PIs, but you cannot add the new ones. the record will be shared. Not sure. We need to see with the staff later on if it's recording well, and then we will see if it will be posted. I thought the number of roles were zeros for each were zeroed for each cycle. No, it's not zeroed. It's for the call. The ARG is it's a call. It's a program. So it has 3 roles per program. It's not per cycle. So if you are awarded in ARG1, then you will miss some roles. If you didn't have any in ARG1, you will have 3 roles in this cycle. We are preparing a proposal. However, some work packages are similar to one of the proposal we submitted last year. As the workflow is same for both ideas, does it count as plagiarism? I'm not sure here. This we need to check it and we'll see if it's the same objectives, it's the same project. You are doing the same thing. This will be considered as resubmission. If not, so this case by case, I can't give you a clear answer from now. We need to see. Is the rebuttal section included in page limit for resubmission? It will be difficult if it's included. It's not included, but please make sure that it doesn't exceed 1 to 2 pages, 1.5 pages as the instructions. It's 1.5. In the case of a resubmission, can we add the rebuttal section as an appendix? As the comments alone would take 2 pages, it would be extremely difficult to keep it within the page limit. As I mentioned, you may include it and it's not counted from the 10 pages. It's up to 1.5 pages, for example, but it will not be counted from that 10 pages. But if you have more than this, you may always include whatever you feel necessary to the proposal in the miscellaneous documents. Does the rebuttal count? I already answered this. Our proposal was rejected last year. Can we revise it significantly and submit it as a new submission, as the new idea is a bit different, although with the same domain? I don't think if it's the same proposal, it's the same idea and same objectives, this will be considered as resubmission. It's not a new. I'm not sure, Dr. Hisham, if you'd like to add to these questions.
Yes, thanks. So it's a judgment call. If it's significantly, as you said, different from the previous one, then it's a different proposal altogether. Although I always advise people to resubmit rather than submit new, because your chances of getting awarded, if you address the concerns of the peer reviewers, will be better. You stand better odds of getting awarded as a resubmittant rather than submitting afresh.
Thank you, Dr. Hisham. How much can we deviate from original proposal for resubmission? And you should include the same theme or the same subject of this previous one. You can adjust slightly the title. You can also adjust in the research team. That's and you will be flexible to adjust whatever necessary based also on the comments that you received from the peer reviewers. Can unawarded MMEs resubmit to ARG? If it wasn't resubmitted in MME and it's from the last cycle of the MME, it can be resubmitted to ARG, but it's only one-time resubmission, so you cannot resubmit it here and there. For future, please let the audience see the slides enough. The transition through slides was very quick. I will share the slides. You will find them all. You will have the time to read them carefully. They will be published on the QRDI board. If I'm applying for from UK with Qatar Institute, they will be the lead PI and I can be PI. I can charge my time, thanks. Yes, you will be PI and the lead PI must be from Qatar. If you are from not from private institutions, yes, you may charge your time, and this you will be, you can agree with the lead PI on the budget and the details of the budgets. I think I see here a hand. Please, if you can write the question, because it will be difficult to open the mic for everyone. Will a resubmission compete with other resubmissions only, or will it be complete with all the other proposals? It will be. It will compete with all the proposals, not only with resubmission. It's a cycle, and all the proposals submitted through in this cycle will be evaluated together. Can I submit a proposal on agriculture sector from Pakistan for QRDI 2024? As I mentioned, the proposal must be aligned to the priority areas of QRDI. You may refer to these themes, priority areas available on QRDI website, and see if your proposal is aligned to it or not. Sub-awardees or collaborative institutions cannot request indirect cost. They can if they are not private sectors or private institutions. Can foreign institute claim 10% indirect cost? As I mentioned, I just answered this. Yes, if they are not private. We are a government organization, and we intend to get collaborative research proposal between Pakistan and Qatar agricultural sector. Just here to mention, this important to mention that we as QRDI, we don't get involved in the partnerships between the teams. However, you may refer to QRDI portal. We have some entities listed there. So if you are interested to do any collaboration with any institution in Qatar, you may contact them directly for this collaboration. Any change since last year? Priorities areas, maybe, no, the priorities areas are the same like last year. There is no major change. That just this cycle we introduced the resubmission. This the only minor change that we have. For resubmission, is the rebuttal part to be added considered part of the 10 page? I already answered this. In the case, can we, what is compete with, already answered. Is this grant same as GESRA? No, GESRA is a Graduate Student Research Award. It addressed for the graduate students at the universities. They are doing their masters and doctoral degrees, and this program is for established researchers in the institutions. For a resubmission, it seems the rebuttal section for the PPM and ARG should be within 1.5 pages and is not counted in the final 10 pages. However, a PPM, there are only 3 reviewers and there are 5 different reviewers for ARG1. Would it be justified to give ARG rebuttals more pages rather than just the 1.5 pages? And try to not, because to be consistent the 10 pages, and it's the percentage from 10 pages to not be like 5 pages and the whole proposal is 10 pages is not logic as well. So as I mentioned, you can make it concise in the research plan, and if you feel that you need more to add more comments or more clarification, you can always add in the miscellaneous documents. Are TAMUK faculty eligible to apply as lead PIs in this cycle? Dr. Hisham, you may take this, please.
Yeah, this is a very good question. As things stand now, we don't have any instructions, and then accordingly, we cannot give you any advice. We will, as and when we get this instruction, we'll be sure to share it with you, and you'll be the first to hear. But as things stand now, we don't have any advice one way or the other. So basically, status quo until and unless we hear to the contrary.
Thank you, Dr. Hisham. Is collaboration with an industrial firm considered a private entity and the personnel are not allowed to receive any compensation? Yes, industrial, if in terms they are private institution, yes, and their personnel, they are not allowed to get from our grants. This can be as co-funding or cost-sharing the proposals. What is the difference between the ARG and the path towards precision medicine? Dr. Hisham, please, if you can also.
Yes, path to precision medicine is a call within the NRP program. The NRPs are designed and launched and evaluated and monitored by a national entity, typically a ministry. In this case, it's the QGP and QBV. And is designed to find solutions to relevant and important problems. The ARG is a curiosity driven and investigator led. It's not the aim of which is to create knowledge and further knowledge, blue skies, if you will. Of course, topics have to bear some relevance to the priorities, but the aim there is to allow academic freedom to pursue curiosity-driven topics and so forth. So the difference is clear between one is geared towards finding solutions, highly applied, geared towards national priorities in a very strongly linked to priorities, whereas the RG is more of a blue sky, academically driven and academically led and curiosity driven. So there's a marked difference between the two.
Thank you, Dr. Hisham. Can we changing the lead PI in the resubmission? I think I answered this. Yeah, you can change it to one of the lead PI of the PIs that they were in the previous project, not totally new one. Can postdocs be lead PI? No, postdocs, we have the role as postdocs as under the unnamed roles, and they cannot act as lead PI as we need the lead PI to be fully affiliated, full-time affiliated to the institution. Could we have research questions instead of hypotheses? Dr. Hisham, please ask. If you can answer also this.
I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
I think they want in the section of hypotheses to add research questions instead.
You can answer in whichever way you feel fit. You can answer questions, hypothetical questions, if you may, but that shouldn't be limiting to your ability to explain the hypothesis, either by way of answering a question or a statement.
Is it mandatory to have, Dr. Hisham, please, if you can stay with me, is it mandatory to have a collaborating institution?
No, it's not mandatory. It's preferable. It adds weight, but it's not mandatory, no.
Exactly. And also you need to address all the criteria of the evaluation, and you see your proposal fitting all of them, even without collaborating. Can this cycle cover master students that will start in fall? I think there is here confusion. This call is not for students. Tomorrow there is an information session for all the talent programs, which include also the graduate students. So if you are interested in this, please attend the information session of tomorrow. It's at 11 a.m. Doha time. And you may ask all your questions because I saw many questions about students. Can you clarify the difference between support letter and commitment letter? The support letter is for the collaborative institution, for the principal investigators that they are not from the submitting institution. So any collaborative institution or any principal investigator not affiliated to the submitting institution need to provide a letter from his or her institution, and the template that need to be used is a supporting letter. However, the commitment letter is for the if they are the institution is providing co-funding or cost sharing. So if the institution is collaborating in the project or is the submitting institution, that we call it cost sharing, and they need to select cost sharing in the commitment letter. However, if they it's a third party, it's not included in the proposal, this will be called they need to select co-funding. This is different. And the content, when you read the content of the template, you will see the difference. If an LPI has an active project granted last year, be an LPI in this year's cycle, yes. You can be lead PI in previous and this cycle, provided that still have number of roles. You didn't exceed the 3 roles. But cannot be lead PI in the same cycle in two proposals, but can be in different cycles. What are the topics on which we may apply? We have the 5 main priority areas. These are, let me share the QRDI website. These are 5 priority areas defined. They are very general and you can apply to them. Just give me a second. I will share it on my screen. Doesn't want to share.
Well, until the slide appears on
It's here.
screen.
It's here.
Yes, can I just say that
Yes.
in this code ARG, we're looking for general relevance to the priorities rather than strong alignment. This being, as I said, keep saying, it's blue skies. So we're looking for general relevance rather than strong alignment.
Yes, and these are the priority areas. I'm not sure you can see my screen, right? Including the energy, health, digital technology, society, and resource sustainability. Thank you, Dr. Hisham. Can the fund be allocated to institutions within Qatar to perform special types of analysis, epigenetics? I'm not sure, Dr. Hisham, if you can answer this.
Yes, they can provide a service under miscellaneous, but if they are cast as consultants, we don't pay consultants. But if a service is provided by way of under miscellaneous or any other budget line, that's permissible.
Thank you, Dr. Shams. I was wondering what's the difference between proposal screening, notification, and award announcement? Is the screening just the passing of the proposal to the reviewer? Yes. The screening is when we do our internal screening to check the completion of the proposals and if they are following the templates. And we have the criteria also in the document library. You may refer to it. And the award announcement is when we announce the awards. So the screening is only to go to the review stage. Is there any requirements for the lead PI position or H index? No, we don't have as eligibility, but also this will be part of the evaluation, of course. How do you include private institution under collaboration, if not personnel or indirect cost? You will include them as collaborative institution, but with the zero cost for personnel and indirect cost. We are preparing a proposal. However, some work packages are, I think we answered this, how long the process takes as per the timeline. It started this month, the application, and we hope to announce the result by October, November. They completed or they will be in the, I do not know. I do not know people working in AI at Qatar. Can we provide me a list of expertise who wish to work with me for applications, please? As I mentioned here, please, we don't get involved in this collaboration, but however, you may contact them. You may refer to the institutions in Qatar and try to contact them directly for collaboration. You may also go here to the QRDI portal and then go to entities. Let me show you. When you go to QRDI portal, we have some entities listed there. Also, you may contact them. If you go here to entities, you might find the institutions in Qatar and try to contact them directly. So these are the entities here. Is the data management plan required for all ARG2 proposals? Yes, it's part of the submission, and you need to fill it. We have some guidelines also there how to fill the template, and you need to complete the template and submit it through the application. If we understood very well, the head of the project should be from Qatar, and what type of collaboration is required with a university. Any institution can be, not only universities, any institutions inside or outside Qatar can be collaborating in the project. Of course, this collaboration should be justified, and the LPI needs to write why they need this collaboration and what's the benefit from it. And and this will be the agreement between you, the PIs and the lead PIs. Can we revise? Our proposal was rejected last year. Can we revise it significantly and submit it as a new submission, as the new idea is a bit different, although with same domain? I think we answered something like this, but as I mentioned, if it's the same objective or same idea, this might be detected with our similarity report and might be considered as a submission, and you might have the risk to be screened out. So make sure that they are totally different, and also you may justify your submission. We have a comments box in the application called comments to QNRF. If you think that they are totally different, you may write your justification in this box, and this will be read by our team during the screening, so to make sure that they do the right judgment for this. Can we explain a little bit more about the 2 weeks period between submission and editing? This is the vetting period. This where all the proposal go through the research offices for vetting, the research offices of the submitting institutions, as they are the officially submitter for us. And this during these 2 weeks, they can, if they have any comment, they can still have the option to return it for the lead PI for modification. But after the 7th of May, the lead PI cannot submit any new application if it wasn't submitted by 7th of May. Are there any focus area or priority research for funding consideration? I think we just answered this, and I showed you the areas. What is the co-funding or cost-sharing contribution? If co-PIs are from outside Qatar, they must have co-funding. It's not a must. It's an addition to the project, but it's not a must. And also this should be this will be in agreement with the lead PI. Is it to clarify, rebuttal is submitted in the miscellaneous? No, rebuttal section, it's one of the sections in the research plan template. If you go through it now, it's number 1 in the section. And it's, the instruction says it's up to 1.5 pages, but also if you have more to add them in the miscellaneous. Dr. Hisham and Ms. Rihan, please, if you have at any time you need to, please feel free to interrupt me to add any clarification. Is it possible to share the recording of today's description? I'll see with the team in the backstage. If it's fine, we will see later on if we can share it. Is there any required documents? As I mentioned, all the application, you have to go through the system and fill all the sections in the application. And if you have any question, you can always send it to us, specific questions for the application for us or for the research office of the submitting institution. They can always help you. For rebuttal, we don't include in the template and add a document under miscellaneous document. Is it correct? No, please add the rebuttal section in the template, because if you don't add it and you see that it's 3 submissions, it might risk to be screened out. You need to add the rebuttal section in the research plan template. However, if you feel that you have more information to add, and this will take many pages, you may also submit a supporting document in the miscellaneous document. If there are different, if it's possible to submit, if they are different, is it possible to submit for both programs? I think this meant between ARG and PPM. Yes, you can submit for both, given that they are totally different proposals and each one addressing the objectives of the call. How about research areas? I think we already answered this question. A proposal that was not awarded in a previous QNRF cycle, MPRP BESRA, was submitted in ARG1 as a new application. Can this proposal be submitted to ARG2? Unfortunately, no. As per our rules, resubmission can happen only one time. So if it was MPRP BESRA wasn't awarded, then went to ARG1. So it was evaluated, it was 2 times. It means it was resubmitted one time before, so cannot be resubmitted again. So it's only one chance for resubmission. And this will be detected in our similarity report. And we'll know that it was resubmitted before. Can we add a new PI to a resubmission, or in the case we have to go for a new submission? Yes, you can change the team, you can change the PIs, add the new ones, remove some. That's you have all the flexibility in the resubmission to update. Can we have 2 lead PIs for one proposal? No, each proposal it's submitted by one lead principal investigator. The other ones are called the principal investigator, not the leads. And they have also some roles in the projects, but the lead is only one, who's the applicant and owner of the ID. Any changes from ARG1 last year? Not major changes. We had a small tweaking in the evaluation scores and the resubmission. That's the only thing. There is no major changes. What's the roadmap of your research center? Which main field do you focus on? Is it open to everyone to apply? Yes, as long as everyone, for the eligible ones, they can apply. And as I mentioned, it's open for the 5 priority areas that they are in the QRDI strategy that I already showed. Will the resubmissions be reviewed by the same reviewers? If all comments from the first cycle are suitably addressed, what are the chances of acceptance? Usually we try to assign the same peer reviewers for the resubmitted proposals, but if they are available, sometimes they are not, but it's not a must. From are suitably, you need to, and this will be re-evaluated. So even if you address the comments of all the peer reviewers, this will be re-evaluated again and go through also the cycle, the whole cycle and the budget availability, and then it goes to the funding recommendation. So there is no guarantee that it will be awarded by default. Collaborative institutional partners from abroad are allowed. At which conditions? Are allowed to receive some budget for personnel or instruments? As I mentioned, yes, collaborative institution can be from outside Qatar, but for industry or private sectors, they are not eligible to get personnel and indirect costs from our grants, but they can collaborate in the projects. I'm currently RO in my office and would like to submit for a grant as a student. What will be the process? As I mentioned, this not for a student here. Tomorrow you might ask for our colleagues in the talent research program. They have information session, and please address your questions to them. What are the criteria for resubmitting from previous cycle with good feedback? Do we respond? What are the criteria for resubmitting a proposal from previous cycle but with good feedback? Do we respond to the reviewers' comments and revise the proposal? Yes, you need to address the comments of the reviewers and revise the proposal as mentioned in the comments, and then resubmit. And as I mentioned, it goes through the cycle and all the proposals for the evaluation. I understand that consultants cannot apply individually, but can do so if it's an institutional application. They don't apply. They have a role called consultant under the proposal, and this for advisory only. It's a role for advisory. They cannot be involved in the project design and claim intellectual properties, but and they cannot get also paid from our grants. The reviewer suggested we add API from a specific background. Can we add another PI in a resubmission based on review? Yes, you can. What is the acceptance rate? In last year, we had around 20 to 21% success rate. I think that's what they mentioned. Can I get from the fund? I'm working for a part-time as a structure. Could I submit? I'm working for a part-time as a PhD instructor in new DST. Could I submit a proposal with API but under elite PI who has permanent position? If you can be a PI if you have postgraduate degree and you are not a postdoc or graduate students. You can be a PI in the proposal if it's submitted by another lead PI who is eligible to be as to act as lead PI. Just I'm trying to skip some questions. They are repeat the questions. What's the maximum budget designated for the equipment in the proposal? We don't have percentage for equipment, so as long as it's within the limit per year, you can submit for equipment. Is the program open each year? We hope yes to open each year to have a cycle at least. In a resubmission, can we change PIs and consultants or not? Yes, you can. Can we have less than 10 pages and can we apply for multiple research grants? You can have less than 10 pages, yeah, but you need to make sure that what you write is sufficient for the reviewers to convince the reviewers about your project. And can we apply for multiple research grants? As lead PI, you can apply as one lead PI as lead PI, but if you don't have any ARG previous awarded grants, you may be also PI in two other ARGs. How do you include the private institute under I think we already answered this. What is the maximum budget for collaborative institution, 35% or 20%? If 35%, what's meant by 8%? No, for budget, it's 20% only allowed outside Qatar. But for the effort, the research effort outside Qatar can be up to 35%. But from money or budget-wise, it's 20%. Do we have other for institutions outside Qatar, do we have other conditions other than that the lead PI should be from Qatar affiliated institution? Should the project be totally executed in Qatar? No, there is no rule, such a rule. Also, as I mentioned, the 35% of the research effort can be outside Qatar. So it's not total, all the effort should be inside Qatar, but the lead PI, yes, should be from inside Qatar. How does QRDI report authenticate scores in the screening page? Is it including or excluding references by bibliography, or for previous NPRP cycles, the bibliography and code were excluded? In the ARG1, after the screening, the authenticate report that were uploaded on QGrant did not exclude references and hence showed high overlap scores. This could mislead reviewers and invite negative comments from reviewers. Yes, we usually try to exclude the bibliography and references. Last in NPRP, as you mentioned, this because it used to be internally and this only now reviewed by the peer reviewers. But before we uploading them on the system, we will make sure that to exclude this to make sure that the percentage is correct. To clarify, in resubmission, we could change the PIs. The reviewers have questioned the inclusion of a few of the PIs. Yes, you can change the PIs. Can a private institution submit as lead PI if they are not yet QNRF approved? No. Any institution, private or not private, they need to have an approved research office with the QNRF to submit as lead PI. And they can start if they are ready, they can start from now applying and before the deadline to have a registered research office. Can we revise the data management plan if it's a resubmission? Same question for budget, PIs, collaborative and work project in case of resubmission. Yes, you can. How many total PIs can be included in a single cycles? We don't have limits about number of PIs. You can include as much as you can. Also, is there a limit of number of PIs outside Qatar? As I mentioned, there is no limit. This also should be, but the inclusion of any personnel should be well justified in the proposal. This will be part of the evaluation by the reviewers. So any individual should be well justified the roles in the project. Could you please clarify the difference between types of collaborative institution? What is the status of sub-awardee? We don't have types of collaborative institution. Any institution that they are collaborating with the submitting institution are called collaborative institutions. I don't understand what do you mean by the status of sub-awardee. Can you provide more collaboration? Just these are very repeated questions. I'm trying to see what. The budget is very generous at 900,000. Only wanted to know whether this can be reduced in favor of more possible successful grants. Of course, this is the maximum per year, so you don't have to put the maximum. And also now the budget is scored. It has also weight of 20%. So any proposal should have a very well justified budget. So this is the maximum that they can get, but it doesn't mean that they should get that 900,000. How many total PIs can be? I think we answered this. What is the broadly aligned with any of the national priority areas? Dr. Hisham can answer this. What we mean by broadly aligned, Dr.?
It means you don't have to justify a strong link between the areas and the topic of your proposal. General alignment means it falls generally, and it's a matter of judgment. It's a judgment call. Falls broadly and generally within a given priority area. That's all that's required.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hisham. If we have a funded ARG1, can we submit another ARG2 proposal on a similar topic to get more funding? This also was part of the review. Dr. Hisham might answer also this. You can submit.
As long as it's distinct and unique and novel proposal, yes, by all means. So even if it's an extension of an existing award, no reason why you shouldn't be able to.
I have here a question. Does the cost of travel of international collaborative institution team members to Qatar is incurred on Qatar budget or their budget? It's included in their budget. So any individual, if it goes from Qatar to outside, this will be from their budget, from Qatar's budget. If it comes from outside to Qatar, it will be from their budget. Can we expect the kickoff meetings to take place for the projects awarded in cycle 1? When we can expect? I think now we are conducting now the kickoff meetings for ARG1. I'm not sure if you weren't contacted for this. It depends on your restart date, but we are now doing it in this month. How will fund expenses be utilized within a collaborative external institute such as for PhD or postdoc researchers? Yes, the categories I mentioned, they can have it for the collaborative institutions, but how the amounts and how the distribution of the budget, this should be in agreement with the lead PI and the institution of the lead PI or the research office. What is the limit of number of hours compensation of the lead PI, research assistant, and postdocs participants? We don't have this limit. This depends on the institutions. For each institution, how much they have limits for their lead PIs and the other stuff. But as QRDI, we don't put this limit. Thank you for your informative presentation. As this is the first time to know about ARG, could you please elaborate more on what makes ARG different from other research supporting programs such as MPRP? Dr. Hisham, please, if you can help in this.
I think we touched upon that. ARG
Yes.
is now a blue sky, curiosity driven. So really that sets it apart from everything else that we do in terms of satisfying academic freedom and allow academics and researchers to investigate and explore topics for the sole purpose of generating knowledge and furthering knowledge. So it supports academic freedom, and it's in that way it's unique among all the other programs and calls in our portfolio.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hisham. Can a project labeled C be resubmitted? What's your recommendation? Yes, they can be resubmitted as long as they address the peer reviewers' comments. How many submission an LPI can make per cycle? How many ARG project? As I mentioned, for ARG can be lead PI, for example, one time in this cycle, and can have in total in all ARG and ARG1 and ARG2, 3 roles as lead PI or PI. And the old MPRP proposal count, and no, they are not counted. The old MP, only ARG is counted. And also I have another question asking about PPM. The PPM also has 3 roles. So if you can have 3 roles in ARG and 3 roles in PPM, so they are not linked together. What is the classification and definition of private institution? Even if they are local, they cannot be paid. Private institution means that they are private for profit. This is what our definition for them. And even if they are local, yes. So any institution that they are private for profit, they are you cannot get personal and indirect cost. Can we add? If the proposal is a rewriting from a previously rejected MPRP proposal, does it count as plagiarism? If it is the same objective, same aim, yes, it's not plagiarism, it's called as resubmission or not allowed resubmission, and it will be screened out since we had now ARG1, so any proposal in MPRP cannot be resubmitted in ARG2. Where I can find the priority areas for this year, I think I already mentioned what we have on the website. You may refer to that page. Is it possible to involve Can I change? I think we almost answered most of the similar question. Is it going to have? Is it mandatory to have an external partner located outside Qatar? As I mentioned, no. As Dr. Hisham also mentioned, that collaboration is not mandatory, internal or external. And I think Dr. Hisham also can elaborate more on this.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's not mandatory, short answer. But if it's justifiable and adds value to the proposal, then by all means, it'll give you put your proposal in a better light. But it's not mandatory.
Thank you, Dr. Hisham. How does the data management plan affect the proposal evaluation? It doesn't affect the evaluation of the proposal itself. It has another review. The data management plan will be reviewed by another team, and they will get back to you if they have any comment on this, but it's not, it will not affect the reviewers if it's not, unless if it's something in the evaluation criteria, it will be affected. Can we replace international? Can the university part-timers submit ARG? As I mentioned, they lead PI must be full-time affiliated, so part-time they are not eligible to be lead PIs or PIs. The PPM ARG information sessions are being given almost 2 weeks after the sites are open for proposal submission. As a suggestion, it would be great if these informations can be done on the day the grants are formally announced and opened for submission to avoid loss of precious grant preparation time. To be honest, we do our best to have these 2 weeks to make sure that everyone has read all the documents and they had the chance to go through the system to see if they have any questions. That's why we don't do it on the same day. But we'll see if your consideration for next cycles. I think we already on time, and I still have a lot of questions, but most of them are repeated, so there is no major change questions. By this, I will end this session. Thank you all. If I will not, sorry, and I didn't have the time to go through all of them. If you have any question that I didn't answer, please submit it through the supporting ticket system, and I will be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.